I was just restarting the video because we're now on to a different section. We're on to the time stretch cleanup. Yeah, don't scream too hard. Okay, so we use this to, we get the click on for record, the click off to stop. That clears the current buffer. It then starts and stops a timer that sets the length of the loop. That's all nice. And we don't need that. Prepend time stretch. Oh, I think that was that. Having that on enables the line drive, so we want to load bang that. Or load mess 1. Enables the separated pitch and time. This is start and stop the playback of our time stretch. Four is controlling the amount of time stretch we have. So we're going to line drive. Oh, is this my exponential curve? Yes, it is. So it's 0 to, let's bring in a dial to test this. Yeah, so this goes from real. So if you've watched the video of us making the time stretch, you can see that sort of we want it to be really low, sort of to have a lot of range between 0 and 1, because that's when you want it to be slow, and then we want it to super ramp up to 20, because you're not going to want a weird value between 1 and, you're not going to want 3, you're going to want 20, so it's like do, 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 do. Yeah. Okay, that's cool, that still works. Right, okay, so we want just a standard dial coming into this. Control for time stretch. We want a volume overall. Gain. Do we want gain now? We just want a multiplier. No need for a matrix here because it's just a really simple multiplication. We're going to do a float between 0 and 1. Let's just spectroscope that. Okay, yeah, so that's exactly what we want there. That just sort of allows us to control whether we hear the audio effect completely or not at all, because we are doing lots of, with this, because it's a buffer based effect, this comes off a different stem, so our other effects will still be going into the audio out with that special mixer that we made. So what do we want? It's not that. We need an inlet for this. I'm also going to go and dig out my special picture. This one, so this is our guide, our guide to effect. So we want the audio signal, the trigger, the controller or the reset, and other variables on the right hand side. So in that case, for this specific example, For this specific example, we're going to want signal, trigger. What else do we have in here, guys? So let me just bring this down a bit. We're going to want signal, trigger, start, stop. Do we want start, stop? We probably want it to just be running. Yeah, because the volume will control that, we'll just set this to we'll set this to the start. So we want audio, trigger, time stretch amount, pitch amount, and a reset button. Maybe we don't even need the reset button, but yeah. So audio, trigger, time stretch amount, pitch amount, volume. Easy. So we're going to load message this to 1 as well. Let's just make sure that was actually what I wanted to do. We probably want a clear buffer button though. That's what we do want, so that it stops playing. So it just eradicates the sound. So I'm going to give that a special button as well. So, because reset didn't do anything for us, that just resets some basic values. So let's get rid of that. This is just for us in here. There's probably a neater way to do this. Jesus. Right, okay, so we have our trigger. That doesn't need to be as big a button anymore. We have our audio. So record sample, audio. We then have start stop, which we don't want anymore. We just passed that a load message. Auto starts playing if there is a buffer. We want that to happen. We can probably automate the starting and stopping of it. I think what we do is we stop it playing when they push 1. So then we do if I1 is equal to 1, then 0 else 1. So this just inverts what's coming in and passes it into that. So what that does is when I push this to record something, it doesn't play it until I'm done. Just going to send, this needs to be banged every time, which is missing, so I'm just going to do that as well. So this is, you know, you're testing a long recording. I do appreciate it's not the nicest sound ever. Right, okay, so this is, to set this to 1, we want that to be like, I'm going to guess 1 higher. Oh, do we need to, will this accept a float? Right, okay. Control I, let's give it a float. This means that we can get fine control over it. So there we go, we want a load mess 75.59. Let's plug that in there. And then we also want, well, let's do 75.59. And then just turn that into a load bang. And this way we can send it the message to reset to default whenever someone finishes recording one as well. So let's turn that back on. So I'm actually going to change this for a much easier to follow example. No, that's locked, that's why. So I just want to make sure that this bang is sending properly, which it doesn't look like it is. Okay, that does sound much better. Okay, let's get this out of here. So let's get rid of that. This buffer can be anywhere, so let's do the send clear. Receive clear over here, just so that's the right size for us. This is just a visualization, I should say, of that info time stretch. I don't think we actually need that anymore. That tells us how long the actual sample is. That shouldn't be right. Okay, yeah, that is completely redundant. This is just a test thing. That is the audio in. Right, okay, so let's have send trigger coming in from up here eventually. And then we have our trigger going into U. So we can delete that. And then we have going into U. If I can click anything into that. We then just want to, well, I guess let's put this up here so they're next to each other. Audio record sample restart. We don't need that anymore, that's rubbish now. No idea what that value does. It's probably something to do with the value of the pitch shift, though, actually thinking about it now that I've deleted it. yeah, so we'll just call that pitch shift val. I'm not sure, we may actually remove that because it does seem like it's getting very complicated. A bunch of reset values we don't need. Where even is send reset? Alright, I moved out of the way. Load bang. This is one messy patch. Load message 1 enables and prepares. It's this we need to bang every time that we update it. Maybe we'll just do it. Simple as that. Oh, it's because we're not sending the trigger anymore. Okay, I think that solved our problem. So let's try and make it super short. Yeah, okay, super, I'm happy with that. So we can get rid of that. The audio in, we'll just leave that as it is because that comes up here. Receive trigger. We can get rid of, what does this go into? So this is just sending and receiving the trigger, so we'll plug that in there. We'll also plug it in here. It's just all about making things much neater so that, like, I made it, I looked at it and I didn't understand what was happening straight away, so for anyone else to even begin, we're just trying to make it as simple as we can. We've got a bunch of load messages happening, that's fine. 3, what is this? Okay, so this is going to be control for the time stretch. That's what this has done here. We don't need this. That reset isn't actually doing anything anymore. So we just need to remember this value of 75.59 because that will reset this control to default for us because we're actually going to have that on the outside, remember. So I might actually just copy that out there to remind me. And that is going into the, this is where things start getting interesting. Right, we don't need that, and I don't need that. Sometimes Max gives me the absolute rage when it scales windows. It's just so strangely implemented. Okay, so the pitch shift value is coming into 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want 6 to be the volume. So that just gets a gain of in number of steps. Where's the float? Oh, it's not a gain we want, sorry, it's a slider. Slider, float input, 0.1. That gets plugged nicely in there. There we go, we now have volume. We have our audio coming into the start. We want, so pitch shift goes into 4, line driver goes into 3. 1, 2, 3. This is going to be our trigger. Okay, let me give it a better sound than kick. Cancel. Delete.
Some of that primitive, I need 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 some of that.
We also have clear coming in 5.
Some of that primitive, I need 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 some.
So I think it's important that I'm going to have a look at this because I'm still not sure that things are being triggered properly. Display length. Start selection, float. So what we are seeing here is the yellow visualization is what this is being set to. So sometimes it looks okay. Well, actually now consistently it looks like it's performing. I think it might be really useful to have this coming out actually. So let's have a version of that coming out. So we will do outlet. What do we need to send out? The buffer. Will that work? I think buffers will be accessible fine, so I think if I just send out, let's have a look, shall we? Yeah, so I just need to make sure I pass this the message time stretch. When we create one, we'll make it a bit smaller. has everything coming into it, so we'll do, no, we don't need to do that, we will simply just do that. So we don't even need to send that, so we can remove that, remove that. Right, okay, so and then we can do a much smaller version that has that going into end selection. So now the display should change to the length of whatever buffer they create is. There we can see it's being cleared. Brilliant, okay. So I'm just going to leave time stretch there because I need to remember to actually send the message time stretch to it as well. Let's make it the same length, slightly longer than the machine. I think we're almost there. What's missing from here? Number 4 is the pitch shift value. Let's have a listen. So I just think if we have another, oh shit, another dial. This one, let's do, instead of 128, let's set this to, set its max length to be 10 either way. Minimum value, let's make that -5. So I need to pass in a value of 6 on startup. That may be a bit drastic actually. It's not half of that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hide this value for now. Yeah, I think that works. I think that works because the picture stuff is good, but we just don't need it. So I've disconnected the load message there with one. I'm also going to stop that godforsaken noise. Okay, now we can get rid of that. Right, I think that's ready, finally. So I'm going to save it, I'm going to close time stretch, and then what am I going to do? I'm going to build this in code. How exhilarating. So how do I want it laid out? Probably something like that. Nice and simple. Right, so let's set that up. Yeah, so let's go down to copy that. And this one is creates time stretch. We're going to call it create time stretch. Position X, position Y. Now comes the fun part. So we need to work out how to build all of this. So I'm going to get my handy notepad again. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's going to go down there. So the first thing we're going to make is the actual object. So we're going to do time stretch 1040. We're going to put time stretch patch. And then okay, no, that's fine. And then we want to create the time stretch controls. So first thing we want to do is the toggle. So we'll do the toggle. And then we want to create the, I'm just going to actually, and then I'm just going to alter this to do else if string is equal to 3, then build the create time stretch position. And did I actually call it that? Create frequency, create time stretch. Yes, I did. So now we should be able to copy that into all of these. 3 and 4. So now I should be able to build a time stretch into location 1. Oh, it's because it needs to be 2, not 3. There we go, we have a time stretch coming in. And the button is way too high. We don't actually want a button at all. Instead of a button, we want a dial. We want to, I didn't change the size, I don't think. No, it didn't change the size, but we did enable float. So we do dial at float output 1. And we don't need it to be that high, so let's try 50. Let me just clean this up slightly. Yeah, let's move this somewhere where it won't get in the way. Go back to our JavaScript, save it, and then do time stretch. Time stretch. Okay, yeah, I think that's going to be a fine position. And it should be set with a float enabled. Brilliant. So the next thing we want is a clear. I'm actually just going to stop here for a second.